So this week is the third Sunday of Lent, and actually this week at the 9:30 Mass we'll have a different set of readings. At the 9:30 Mass we'll be celebrating the scrutinies with the catechumens, those who are going to be baptized at the Easter Vigil. And always when we celebrate the scrutinies, we use the readings from Cycle A. At the other Masses, we'll hear the readings from Cycle C for the third Sunday of Lent. And that's the readings that I'll talk about today. The first reading during Lent tells us about God's relationship with the Israeli people. Last week, we heard about his relationship with Abraham. This week, our focus is on Moses. Moses is a threefold loser. He's a wanted murderer. He's living out in the barren desert, and he's a shepherd, which was considered a very low job in the ancient world. But God comes to this unpromising Moses and tells him that he wants him to be an instrument of his plan. God has a plan to free the people from Egypt, from the Exodus. And God reveals to Moses his name. God tells Moses that his name is Yahweh, I am who am, that he is constant, indicating that he's eternal, unchanging. This name signifies God's presence and commitment to his people, affirming that he is actively involved in their plight. In our second reading, Paul continues the theme of the Exodus. St. Paul is addressing the Christian community in Corinth, and he's drawing parallels between the experience of the Israelites during the Exodus and the lives of the early Christians. The Corinthian community faced challenges related to idolatry and moral laxity, prompting Paul to remind them of their spiritual heritage with the people that came through the Exodus, reminding the Corinthians that many of them failed and rebelled and disobeyed God, and as a result, they didn't reach the promised land. In our gospel, Jesus is now on his way to Jerusalem. Jesus uses two actual historical events, one in Jerusalem, where an act of Roman violence, and the other a natural disaster in Galilee. Jesus makes the point that it doesn't matter when it happened or whom it happened to or what reason it happened. The troubling question is, were the people prepared? Had they turned towards God before the incident? The parable of the fig tree emphasizes how patient God is. A fig tree was like a weed. It grew up everywhere, in the fields and the walkways, even in the walls and cracks in the wall. But the people tolerated it as long as the fig tree bared fruit because they liked the fruit. But if the tree would stop bearing fruit, it'd be pulled up and thrown away like a weed. Jesus uses that parable to tell us that God is patient. God, however, in Jesus' parable, gives even these trees a second chance to pull their lives together and bear fruit. It is a story of God's gracious forgiveness. A couple of questions to think about. What areas of your life is God inviting you to tend to in order to bear more fruit? And our God is a God of second chances. Who in your life needs a second chance?